Hello, good evening, everyone. So it's such a great pleasure joining in once again and have this great conversation, great moment with you guys. I hope everyone is doing good, everyone is keeping safe, and it's another Thursday of the week. It's April, and we are on and about with our theme on authenticity. So it's just a pleasure to keep on talking and touch base on the topic, and hope that as we speak, as we engage, we can get to hear more, learn more about this concept and how best we can be authentic in our lives, in our businesses, as people. And so let me just have our guest speaker joining in. Without further ado, so excited. So our guest, as he's joining in, let me just talk a bit about him. And I'm gonna be I'm not gonna say anything about him, by the way, because I might finish the whole 15 minutes just rambling and talking about him. So it's best if he's the one to talk. But I have a lot to say, and I have great respect for Chris. And yeah, there he is. Hi, Chris.
Hi, Felicia. How are you?
Welcome. I was already talking and just forgot that you're already in it. I should be welcoming you. So good to see you, Lurid. Oh, Lurid, that's great. Yeah, happy to see you. Okay. I think I might have also seen Windra joining in. So wonderful, everyone. So Chris, how are you? and how's your
I'm good,
day?
Felicia. Good, thanks. It's good to be here. Thank you for the invite.
All right, you're welcome, and thank you too for accepting to take us through this. And I know we're gonna learn a lot from you in this few minutes. And I'm just gonna go straight to our topic. But just before
Yeah.
that, please, if you could just use a minute or two to tell us about you, so that people get to know you in your own way. I don't want to do my way because I'll take most time.
I believe we have 15 minutes, so 2 minutes is too long. I'll try and do it in half a minute. So, hi everyone. It's good to be here. My name is Chris Gumbe, and I'm an African who is passionate about entrepreneurship. I dream of an Africa where we gain our independence through entrepreneurship driven economic independence. Myself, I live by a value system where I believe in being passionate about anything that you do. I also believe that we need to be creative. So creativity is one of the values that I live by. And I also believe in being of service. I believe that we were put on this earth for a reason, and we need to be people of service. And I always try to do everything that I do in a balanced way. That means having the best of both worlds. So one of my values, the fourth value, is that I believe in balance. I want to live a balanced life in whatever I do. And my fifth and most important value is that one of integrity. I believe that in everything that I do, everything that we do, we must do it while holding ourselves to the highest level of integrity. So in a nutshell, this is me. In my professional world, I manage a business that is in logistics. So yeah, that's me. Thank you, Felicia.
Thank you, Chris. So I think participants, if you're in right now, please, I'm going to ask you to just write down what you got from Chris, just from his introductions. I'm sure you have caught a few values that he's mentioned. So probably if you got one that you relate with, or you could pick from his values, kindly write on the comment section, and we'll be happy to read them out. So yeah, that's one of the things that I know Chris for, is that he's very strong and on his values, and you'll see it appearing in his work, his conversations, and so many things. So thank you, Chris, for that. And so today we are talking about authenticity, and authenticity not just in its general form, but we are more focused on the millennials and the Generation Z. And the idea that as him and Nani, we wanted us to have you help us, or speak or engage with us on how, you know, as a young generation, how do we see authenticity, right? And so one of the questions that I would like to hear from you, because I know you're not in that group of ours where most of us belong. So millennials, in total, it's like those who were born from mid 1980s, going forward 1990s to 20, you know, mid 2015, 2013 there. So there's a lot of changes that have come with, things are different from there, you know, the technology, fashion, trends, everything is so different how we view the world. And so we want to, you know, from our eyes and maybe from your eyes, you know, what do you think? I want you to kind of share your observation, just your personal observations. What do you see, you know, in terms of the millennials, the young generation? How do we see, you know, what is authentic, what is not? What is your perception about us with regards to authenticity?
Okay, so that's a bit of an unfair question because I'm not a millennial. So the first thing that I want to say is that I know very little. So what I'm sharing are my personal views. They don't necessarily make them true. However, with that said, I think I've observed that there seems to be a struggle in terms of being authentic, the generation that we're talking about. And I don't think it's by design. I think this generation we're talking about, or these two generations, they're living in a different world to the one perhaps that we lived in. Why is that so? I think it's because of the factors that influence them. Before, people were lived in a closed world, and the generations we're talking about, they live in a connected world. So their influence tends to come from what they're seeing. So they're spending a lot of time on social media, they're watching a lot of TV, and a lot of that is not something that is local, it's international. So the exposure that they have is no longer limited to the people that are immediately around them. So they are exposed to a lot of influences. And because of that, you find that, I believe, a good number of them, they're struggling in terms of coming up with, who am I? How do they identify with, you know, with what is real? Whatever they see on TV, they're not able to tell that maybe people are doing it for TV. So I believe that there could be a struggle in terms of identity because of the exposure to the international world, which has now become a global village.
Okay, thank you, Chris. And I like that, and that's so on point. Definitely, that means, you know, it's kind of, we're getting lost into all that. There is so much information, so much exposure. Now, you know, the question now is, what is real? What is, you know, who am I? I like those questions because they're the core to really find one in that pursuit of being authentic. So another, like, how does a young person, someone in the millennial, someone in Generation Z, how now do they get to a point where they can differentiate what is from all this junk of things that are coming, you know, this connectedness, and everyone telling them this is right, this is true, you know, this is the correct way. How do they get to differentiate what is authentic from what is not? I don't know, what would be your guide around that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's difficult, but if perhaps you were to look at authenticity from what is it that you're referring to? Is it material things? Are we talking about people being authentic? I think with the rest of, let's say, information you can easily validate it and say, is this true or not? But it becomes more difficult when you're dealing with people and perhaps their peers, because I think those are the people that perhaps influence them a lot. How do they identify whether the peers they are interacting with are genuine? I think there are telltale signs that you can pick the people that you're dealing with. Do they believe or do they live their lives in a predictable fashion? Because if you're not authentic, it's most likely that you're not going to be predictable because you just go with the flow. You don't have a narrow path that you walk. If you're looking at your peers in terms of, are they authentic? You're looking at things, can you rely on them? Because when someone is authentic, one of the characteristics that they display would be that they are reliable. So I think it becomes easier. You have to look at the patterns, you have to look at the relationship. Is there any value that you're getting from those peers? If you find that you're struggling to get any value from them, it may be that you're dealing with a facade. The things that you're, the people that you're interacting with, they are not real. So yeah, it's difficult, but I think there are signs that you can look into. So integrity, predictability, and reliability.
Okay, I like that. I like that because I actually like when you said reliability and patterns, and it's easy to know that if you're you're keen enough to kind of recognize that. So just let me quickly read out the comments from some of the people here. Lurid says service. Okay, when we're talking about your values, I think so. She mentioned out service is an important part of leadership and integrity. That's actually so powerful. So yeah, she was doing what I asked to, for people to kind of say. So then we have Alex. Alex says we truly live as what we see today on social media, not what we think and rationally decide on. Thank you, Alex. Actually, yeah, with regards to that now, Chris, I wanted us to, right now we have two groups of people that I'm interested, to kind of talk about them, and maybe you can also give your insights. So one of the group of the young generation are the people who don't know themselves. They don't have that strong sense of, okay, I'm not saying they don't know themselves at all, but it's not adequate, for them to really kind of screen or sort out, what is reliable, as you say, where are the patterns. So they don't have strong sense of self and knowledge, self-awareness. And so it becomes difficult to make decisions. So it's hard for them to be authentic in the first place. So how do you deal with those people? What kind of, I don't know, a trajectory or process would you recommend for those people to just start, with that? Because I think it's very important, and that's like a majority of a significant share of the young generation. They don't have, they don't know themselves enough. So what would be your, I don't know, your advice or something? And then I will talk about the next group of people.
Okay, so my advice with that is, with regards to that, is that being authentic is a journey. And for me, the first step that I would recommend is something that they'll probably kill me for. And that is, I would say, disconnect from the world. Because when you're suffering or when you're exposed to things that perhaps are influencing you in a negative way, you need to disconnect yourself from that. So disconnect from the world, but I don't mean that literally. I mean, reduce the amount of time you're spending connected. Then the next thing that I would do is, when you have disconnected yourself, find time to just do nothing. Sit. It's okay not to have anything to do. If it's an hour, if it's an hour and a half, just sit and do nothing. And with time, you will then learn to do self-reflection, which is where you're now getting into the powerful mode. You reflect, you find that your thoughts become stronger, they become positive, because what you're actually doing is you're disconnecting yourself from things that could be feeding negativity, from things that could be fake, and you want to be able to have that space to see clearly. It's like you're starting on a clean slate. And I would say, once you've gone through the reflection period, you then want to seek help in terms of maybe from professionals, organizations like Nani, which have self-development programs. They will help you in terms of now walking the journey of finding yourself, because it's not something that you can easily do on yourself. Read about books on personal growth. And I think one of the most important things that I would recommend is that just start doing random acts of kindness. When you're kind to people, strangers, it's going to make you feel good. When you feel good, you're going to evoke certain feelings that give you confidence about yourself. So for me, that would be the start. And then the next stage would actually be now going into the technical issues of finding out yourself, what is your true identity, which we are talking about, being true to yourself, walking the talk, being immune to external validation, that kind of thing. So it's a journey. It's not something that you can do overnight, but I would recommend that find time to reflect and think about what's important to you, as opposed to hearing or seeing what is important from the external world.
Wow, that was so powerful, Chris. I like the first point where you just first disconnect yourself from the world, and that's one of the most difficult part for, you know, for the millennials, the Generation Z, because we're so much connected to the world. So I really I can't you know hammer that enough. So thank you so much for that. And so we are out of time, but I have one more question
Uh,
now for you. I don't know if we can have like
okay.
3 extra minutes just for that.
That's
And
fine.
all right, so I know someone has commented being authentic is genuine. Greatly said. Thank you, Alex. So we have this other group of a young generation, you know, whereby
Yes.
I don't know if I think they I don't know if they are authentic, but they're very true to themselves and they're true to the world. In terms
Okay.
of they'll tell you on your face, like, you know, I don't like this. They will tell you I cannot do this, or like they'll tell you I'm lazy, I'm irresponsible, or they will tell you something like I know my purpose in life, and stuff like that, you know. But now
Yeah.
it's a good thing, I think, for someone to be straightforward, honest. But then we have
Yeah.
this young generation of people who are very honest in admitting to not wanting to grow. And so
Yeah.
those are the people that, yeah, will not give extra of their time, extra of hard work, extra of something, because they're just okay, they're content with that. And they'll just tell you, no, I don't like reading. I'm not born a reader, or something like that.
Okay.
So is that authenticity? I don't know what that is, or whether, you know, it is or it's not. Please help us know. And how do we, you know, juggle around that? Does it mean that being authentic or being true to self is not a room for you to grow or to learn? What is your thought about that, and how can we, you know, go around that?
Okay. So you gave many examples. I hope I got them. But I think when someone says I'm lazy, they are probably being honest, but does it necessarily lead to authenticity? I doubt it. For me, I would challenge that person. So I'll take the example of someone who says, I don't like reading. So while that is a correct statement, I would look at it and say, why do people read? You read to gain information, isn't it? Or to gain knowledge, that sort of thing. So I would challenge that person and say, okay, the purpose of reading, which you're lazy to do, is to gain knowledge. However, you don't gain knowledge only by reading. Maybe you can listen. The objective is to gain something of value. So if you're being lazy, I don't think you're being authentic. Being authentic means being true to yourself. And who is yourself? Yourself is the purpose that you were born to do. I don't think people were born to be lazy. Absolutely not.
I like
So
that. I like that.
I would challenge those people and say, you're not being authentic. You're probably being truthful about a state of mind in a certain period of your life, which if you do something about, you can actually change. And then you get to go towards your true purpose. And then you can be authentic. So laziness, not wanting to do things is not something that is authentic. I think it's just being honest about a state of mind.
Wow, I think that brings that's like a bulb in the head. And I hope, you know, as young people who are listening to this, I think we that also goes to how we tend to show our feelings. And, you know, as you say, feelings are just the state at that point. It's not who you are. So I like that. I like that so much. So thank you, Chris. I think we are okay. We're past time. So let me just wind this up. I would like to appreciate everyone who is joined in. This will be on recording. You can access to it. We're going to be speaking about authenticity all of this month. And next week, we're going to be talking about authenticity and leadership. So how can we have leaders who are authentic? Or how do you, you know, be authentic when you're a leadership? And so don't miss out. If you're a leader, or if you aspire to be one, or you're learning to be one, we're all leaders in one another. So please don't miss out next week, same time, same place, and, you know, tag somebody and, you know, sign up for our programs. We have upcoming programs that are being launched at the moment. So check out on our LinkedIn bio, and, you know, visit our website or Facebook to get to know more about our programs, and sign up. And thank you so much, Alex. I'm seeing your comment. People are not born to be lazy. I like that. Lurid, I actually needed this. That's good to know. Thank you. Lurid says thank you. So everyone who has made it to join in, thank you so much, and see you next time. Chris, I don't know if you have one final word, and we just end this.
Thank you, Felicia. It's been great being here. And my parting words will be authentic to yourself, be true to yourself. It's much easier being true to yourself than trying to be something that you're not.
Wonderful, wonderful. Always just hammering us, yeah? Thank you, Chris. So till then, have a good evening, everyone, and bye-bye.
Bye-bye.